Back to the daily grind, and shout out to the full-time patrons. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
And George St. Pierre, the UFC's former welterweight and middleweight champion, joined Joe Rogan to speak about his fighting future, among other things, on Joe Rogan's MMA show, his MMA branch of his podcast. And it was I haven't got to listen to the full 3-hour long podcast, or 2 hours all the way through and through, but I've heard clips of it where he talked about the potential Khabib fight, where he talked about Nate Diaz and where he jokingly admitted to poisoning Nate Diaz. It was pretty funny. If you didn't catch that, I'll probably do a separate video on that part because it's more humor. But this is actually something that I think is really it was good to hear and get a lot of clarity from GSP, because we've heard about him fighting Nate Diaz recently from Dana White. They were working on GSP for Nate Diaz for UFC 227 in LA. That didn't come to fruition as expected because Nate Diaz doesn't want to fight his brother's fight. GSP, he's talking about why he's not really interested in that fight here. He did say they considered it, though. He did say me and my team considered it, and we were all on the same lines, yeah, no. Because he said he doesn't want to look like a bully. This is what GSP had to say. Nate Diaz is an incredible fighter. He's very well-rounded. However, if you put yourself in my shoes, there's nothing good that can come out of it except money. And money is not the only thing that drives me. If I beat Nate Diaz decisively, most people will say, he took an easy fight or whatever. The critics will say, he's a bully. He fought a smaller guy. Maybe he's not even smaller than me. A lot of 155er guys are bigger than me right now. He is a big guy. He's about the same size as me, but because I competed at 170 for most of my career, it will make me look bad. It will make me look like a bully, and this is if I win decisively. He continued to say, everything I do, I go further and further. That's why I didn't want to fight Nate Diaz, because if I fight Nate Diaz, it's been done before. It's not exciting for me, and I would be going into that fight satisfied. And if I do that, it's very dangerous. I want to do something like 155. I never did it before, getting that title or beating a certain guy. He's on a freaking rise. And so he's just talking about how Nate Diaz, the fight doesn't make sense because it's a lose-lose. If he beats Nate Diaz, everybody says you were supposed to win, you're the bigger guy, you look like a bully. And if he loses to Nate Diaz, it's even worse. So with that being said, it doesn't make a lot of sense for somebody like GSP to take that fight, because all he would gain is money. GSP's got money. That's literally all he would get. It would potentially tarnish his legacy either way. So the Nate Diaz fight doesn't seem like something GSP's interested in. However, he did say he's interested in going to 155. He did talk about Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov, but we all know they've got some beef to settle. Conor McGregor, I think, is still debating on sending Khabib that location and getting this shit on like Gangs of New York style. I mean, Conor McTeller, I should say. But Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov have hinted at a potential fight recently on social media. Khabib Nurmagomedov's manager came out and said he spoke to Khabib for 59 minutes on the phone, and everyone's getting punished for their actions. We all know about Conor McGregor, the Barclay attack by now, where he stormed the Barclays, got let in, the back door, came in, was on a rampage, threw a dolly at the bus, shattered a window, got 4 fights canceled. So you could imagine that's what Khabib's manager might be talking about when he said everyone's going to get punished for their actions. There's a whole back and forth between Khabib Nurmagomedov's team and Conor's team. I mean, as far as even their teammates, right? Artem Lobov got in. I mean, so it's pretty deep as far as Conor and Khabib. They got to settle that, and GSP talked about that. But think about this. This is something I just thought about. What if GSP fights the winner of that fight? Talk about fucking insane. But GSP continued to talk about, this is what he had to say about Conor and Khabib. He said it could be Khabib. The thing is with Khabib, he called me out. Physically now, it is not a good time for me. I need to wait a little bit. However, I feel like 155 division now, it's Conor McGregor, the champion. There's Tony Ferguson, but I think Ferguson is out. There's other guys too, but those are the two guys, Conor and Khabib. But Khabib, I think now is the champion, but he needs to fight maybe Conor. So yeah, Khabib's the champion right now. If GSP's going to go to 155, he also said this in the interview, he said he could do something no one's ever done before and fight for a third title. So if he could do that, that would be huge for his legacy. Right now, if he went down, he could fight Khabib right now, but he's got to wait a little bit because we know about the colitis, you know, that forced him to vacate the 185 belt. So he said he's still got a little bit of symptoms. It's getting way better. It's definitely way better than it was, but he's still got a little bit of the symptoms, so he's got to be out for a little bit longer. But in the meantime, in between time, Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov can fight for the belt. We all know they got to fight. Conor McGregor got stripped of the belt. Khabib Nurmagomedov is the champion. A lot of people feel like Conor's still the rightful champion, but a lot of people feel like he's not. Khabib is. That whole lightweight situation really needs to play out, and the best way to figure it out would be between Khabib Nurmagomedov and Conor McGregor in a super fight, and they've even been hinting toward it, because not only did his manager say everyone's going to get punished for their actions, but Conor came out and said, put your dukes up when I see you, I'm coming, some shit like that. And he's also going to be meeting with Dana White at UFC Liverpool to discuss his future. So with that being said, I think we'll possibly see Conor McGregor versus Khabib. And if that is the case, by the time they do fight, which needs to happen, GSP might be interested in coming down to 155. And potentially, if GSP, fucking one of the greatest fighters, if not the greatest mixed martial artist of all times, fights the winner of Khabib versus Conor McGregor, Khabib versus Conor's already the biggest fight of all time. Now take that motherfucker that wins that fight and put him versus GSP, and we're talking, boom! I'm talking, if I was a fucking cartoon, my eyes would be blowing out of my head right now. That's insane to think about, bro. It's a great time to be an MMA fan. I don't know how many times I gotta tell you guys that. But that being said, it is what it is. Let the full-time family know what you think about GSP not being interested in the Nate Diaz fight, but potentially the Conor or the Khabib fight. And as always, thanks for checking out this video. If you want to join the notification gang, make sure you hit subscribe and also hit the bell next to it so you're notified every time I upload a video. And if you want to help this channel reach its full potential, consider hitting the PayPal link in the description or going to patreon.com/fulltimemma and becoming a patron. I'm out.
This is #1 bullshit.